Howdy, neighbors. It's Sako Tumi, also known as Cass Voit. Oh, I can use my brand. Yeah, there we go. And welcome to the Witching Hour NaNoWRIMO Edition. And I might have a guest later, so I will be prepared just in case. Okay, well, I have this groovy little timer, and while I wait for people to pile in, because I know there are other people on the other side of the planet that are online right now. And I will see you on the other side. Now I'll see you on the other side. Or rather, what are you working on today? Take a break. How are you doing? What is your project for tonight if you're working on anything? We will unwind a little bit from that sprint. It was a doozy. I need to write. So I just finished a sexy time between a vampire and a human. And now I get to write the evening after. Muhaha. Muhaha. Though I could just skip the break and go into another sprint. Somebody was watching. Yeah, somebody's watching. Oh, I know what I can do. Haha. Oh, it's backwards. No plot, no problem. Week 3. Where did I leave off? Falling behind and the key to the VIP lounge. Okay, let's be honest. There will be days in this wild escapade when you're just not feeling it. When your brain is checked out and neglected to leave a forwarding address, and it's all you can do to get the food from the dinner plate to your mouth before you collapse asleep at the table. These days will come more often than you might like in week 2. Hold up. That's week 2. We need week 3. I have not hit the halfway point yet. Some NaNoWRIMO participants are blessed with fanatical cheering sections and relentlessly supportive groups of friends and family who constantly ply them for details about their works in progress. These good-hearted folks make care packages stuffed with frozen pizzas and unmarked bills, and listen, enraptured, to the stories about life as an amateur novelist. The other 99% of us have a somewhat less saintly support network. Our caregivers are dispensing bemused glances on good days and are hurling our unwashed dishes at our heads on bad ones. However, no matter how enthusiastic or disinterested your fans have been up to now, till now, you'll probably notice an ebbing in their support this week. It makes sense. Having a novel appear in your life so suddenly is like finding a baby, or a very small person convincingly dressed like a baby on your doorstep. As you acclimate to the new presence in your life, old routines go out the window, and friends and family are inevitably pushed aside as you figure out how best to make room for the new addition. And like a baby, a novel is largely a personal miracle. The tiny joys of your writing process usually don't resonate with other people, no matter how close you are to them. Like many month-long writers, 3-time winner Rise Sheridan Peters finds this discrepancy between the joy of the book and the sorrow of friends and family especially pernicious in week 3. I'm finally figuring out what the book is about, Rise says, and everyone else in my life is counting the days until the book is done. I want them to sit and look at me raptly while I tell them what's inside the suitcase turned out to be a forged reliquary with a fake saint's arm that's actually filled with designer drugs from a lab at MIT. They just want to know if we're ever going to eat another meal that didn't come in a bag with a plastic fork. Quote. Okay. As you head into your 3rd week of missed social engagements and poor performance on household chores, your friends and loved ones will be slowly realizing that if you were going to quit your book, you probably would have done so already, which means another 2 weeks of closed doors and sporty dinners. This may bring out a little grouchiness in your support team, mostly because they miss you, or they at least miss the less annoying version of you who could sit through an entire movie without discussing or they at least miss the less annoying version of you who could sit through an entire movie without later discussing how many words you could have written in that 2-hour period. So give a little love and understanding back and assure your support networks that the thing is almost over. Week 3 tips. Activating the 6,000 word jetpack under your seat. That's what I need. I need a 600 word jetpack. Tremendous come-from-behind victories have been a part of month-long noveling since the dawn of the sport. One of the easiest ways to go from the out of contention to head of the pack is by harnessing the power of 600-word days. These are much easier to pull off than you might imagine. Here is a step-by-step guide to turning on your noveling jetpack. Step 1, pick a Saturday or Sunday when you have approximately 2-hour pockets of free time spread throughout the morning, afternoon, and evening. Step 2, wake up early and have a large, healthy breakfast, or some coffee and a cigarette, whichever is easiest. Step 3, do 30-minute writing sessions in a row, separated by 10 minutes stretching, wrist shaking, fetal position holding, and complaining breaks. Step 4, go have fun, come back, and repeat the same 3, 30, 10 schedule feet after lunch. Step 5, do something else, and after dinner and some post-meal loafing, head to the computer and do another 30-minute sessions. At this point, you will have added 6,000 words to your tally, and you can go to sleep dreaming of friendly agents bringing oversized advance checks to your door. To exponentially increase the power of your jetpack, follow this regimen 2 days in a row. You will be floored by how much more lovable the world is when you add 12,000 words to your account over one weekend. I will have to try that this weekend. Out of sight but not out of mind, banishing the last traces of your inner editor. News from your inner editor. I just dropped by the kennel and your inner editor is doing very well in your absence. While I was there, it was in the middle of correcting the pitch and pronunciation of a group of elementary school carolers who had come by to spread good cheer. I've never seen an editor so happy. Despite your IE's contented distance, you may still be feeling its presence this week in the form of writing or creative blocks. If you are feeling stymied but at week 3, you're probably cursed with a more dictatorial inner editor than most. I will at least finish the sentence. That was the end of a sentence. Okay. I'll see you on the other end of the sprint. Okay. We are on a 10-minute break. How was that sprint for you? And also welcome to my stream. Long time no see. You're looking
Really
fabulous.
Thank you. Sorry, my brain is like rebooting because I just had an all-staff meeting.
Right.
So processing everything that's happened there.
Yeah,
Um
sure.
and like it's a lot, but it's also not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
In that there's structural changes happening within the company, which means new titles for a lot of us and new workflows and shit like that.
Sure.
But it's also not all that new. Like, it wasn't sprung on us or anything. Well,
Right.
the new title was.
Yeah, sure.
But so my brain is just like, woo, and trying to get into non-meeting mode is
Non-meeting mode is taxing.
yeah. And also I got up at 4:30 this morning
Holy crap.
because I needed to pee, because I am now at that age where I need to pee every 3 hours. And Mr. Sage was getting up, getting ready to leave for work at 5. So I was like, okay, I have power, I have internet, I'm awake. My computer is not sounding like a jet engine anymore. So
Yay.
I'll do a pop-up stream. And then I went into StreamYard, and StreamYard was like, well, you can only stream to YouTube or Twitch unless you upgrade.
Right.
And I don't have the funds to upgrade at the moment. But then I remembered that my boss got StreamYard with the upgrade for a podcast recording. And she was like, well, I know you stream, so if you want to stream using the company upgraded version, go ahead. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. But then it took me 2 hours to get logged in to
because of all the double authentication and
all of that.
Yeah.
And get all my branding stuff moved over.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that my Be Right Back screen video thing wasn't uploading. And then I realized it was because it's too big. So I re-exported it and it came out bigger. And I was like, how? So like it was a technical difficulties morning. And then I finally got everything ready and I'm like, okay, I can stream. Let me just double check when that meeting is. Because
How about now?
I had it in my head that it was going to be at 10, which is now.
Right.
And then it wasn't at 10, it was at 9.
Whoop.
So, oops.
Branding is nuts.
Yes, it is.
But I have a specialty in branding.
Yes, she does. In fact,
yay! I designed that logo.
Yes, you did. And all my brand colors and everything.
Yeah. Dwan is a good buddy pal from Imaginarium, which is a writer con in Kentucky.
Right. Yes, I am aware of Imaginarium.
What? Really?
Yes, I have seen it on, if not your channel, then on Morgan's channel.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. That is lovely.
Yeah.
So cool. Oh my gosh.
I have missed streaming like you cannot believe.
Oh my gosh. You have power and internet
I have power and internet at the same time.
at the same time. Also, your logos are quite nice as well.
Very nice. Ow.
Also, bravo. Mm-hmm.
We approve.
I certainly approve. We have 4 minutes until our third sprint. Yes. All of that.
Yep.
So I'm at 17K for Nano.
Excellent.
I need to be at 25K. That would be nice.
That would be nice. Yes.
So I'm going to try that jetpack thing in no plot, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
So I can get the 6,000 words and then 6,000 words on Thursday, ideally.
That would be very helpful.
That would be, I would be ecstatic. And I would be in my third act.
Excellent. That is fantastic progress.
At 25,000 words, I should be at the midpoint. But I think I'll hit the midpoint sooner than 25,000 words.
But you're first drafting.
This is zero draft, and I am an underwriter.
Yeah. So I wouldn't worry too much about word counts as structural guidelines at this point.
At this juncture, I try, and I love the idea of writing the end on November 30th, but I don't know. It might be sooner than the 30th, and then I can go back and flesh things out.
You get there when you get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear what it is my nano project is?
I don't think so.
It is a lesbian vampire romance.
Ooh.
And I just wrote the spicy scene yesterday, so now I get to write the evening after.
Oh, yes, evening after. Excellent.
Yeah. That is the general consensus, by the way, of whenever I say what the project is, and people are like, "Oh," or "I'll be right over," or
yeah. I mean, hooray for more queer vampires.
Yeah. So
I mean, there is an argument to be made that vampires are queer in their nature, but let's not get into that whole can of worms.
All right, we got 40 seconds.
Awesome.
Oh, it's not my genre, but even I'm curious. Yeah, it's not normally my genre either. So it's an adventure.
It's an adventure, but it's vampires.
It's vampires and former cancer patients, childhood cancer people.
And queer stuff.
And queer stuff. and demisexual stuff.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Kaflick. Okay. That was our third sprint. Take a break. How was that sprint for you?
Well, let me just update my spreadsheet here. Was that the right word count? Yes, that was the right word count. I got 157 words and I let the dog back in. So,
Nice.
how was it for you?
I mostly hung out on Anya A.S. Renner's stream, talking in her chat.
Fair enough.
Poor Autumn. Autumn kind of needs a pep talk. She's being really hard on herself for being 2K under, and there are ways to, depending on your pace. I think she can do it. I think
Absolutely.
if she really like hunkers down today and puts the balls to the wall, as it were, I
But I
think
mean,
she could pull ahead.
also life happens.
It does. 23K is still really good.
It is.
You
It's
know,
really good.
it's really good.
I mean,
Never
okay,
mind that you're not up to the 25K. Like, don't be so hard on yourself.
exactly. Okay, so I'm not doing nano. I
Hmm.
don't do nano.
Right.
Um, I have in the past, and I've had my rants about why I don't do nano.
For
Um,
sure.
I'm happy for the people that it works for. It doesn't work for me.
Right.
Um, but for November, hang on, I am not quite. I haven't updated my sheet in a couple of days.
I haven't updated my sheet in a couple of days either, and I haven't done it since like the 12th or the 13th. And
That's about it for me too.
yeah.
So rather than doing nano and once a year trying to write 50K and then burning out on that and not writing again for 6 months and then like writing dribbles and
Right.
I just set a goal for myself of 10,000 words a month.
Oh,
Um,
that's reasonable.
that's what I figure. Um,
That
I
allows for
use
life and, like
exactly.
job and
Um,
family and stuff like that.
and I mean, technically, if you write 200 words a day,
Yeah.
you can write a novel in a year.
Hmm.
That gives you 73,000 words, I think it is. Yeah,
That if
73,000
that
words.
you can, yeah, as long as
So,
you have a daily practice,
exactly. So, that's what I was doing for a while, was just
200 words
200
here and
words a
there.
day.
Anya was
Um,
saying the same thing. Yeah.
and if I found that I could do 500 words in a day, great, I've banked some extra. Um, I got really so when all the power and internet issues were happening, I
Hmm.
was having a lot of trouble um, writing because obviously, like for some days, we were without power for 12 hours.
Right.
Um, and then in the remaining 12 hours, I've got to cook and feed my family and um, actually do, my day job
Right.
um, that pays the bills and lets me write.
Hmm.
Um, so I was having a lot of trouble making those 200 words a day. So I said to myself, okay, I'm not going to do I'm not going to say write every day. I'm going to say write every day that I can.
Yes.
And some days are 0-word days, and some days are 10-word days, and some days are 1,000-word days.
Right.
So that works a lot better for me. So then
Right.
instead of having a daily goal, I went to a monthly goal. And as long as I'm getting the 10,000 in the month, I'm happy. I am currently at 3,804 words for November.
Nice.
So I'm a little bit behind because I should be at 5,000.
Well, coulda, woulda, shoulda, but I mean, like, you can. There's still time.
Exactly.
You can have some days where you pull ahead and some days where you fall back. You know.
Exactly. And I had a weekend at the beginning of November because one of the reasons that Nano doesn't work for me is that at the end of October, it's my best friend's birthday.
Ah.
It's also my husband's birthday.
Oh shit.
And his best friend's birthday.
Oh.
And our wedding anniversary. And then on the 1st of November, it's my birthday.
Right.
So we tend to have like book off a weekend, either the last weekend of October or the first weekend of November.
Sure.
And do all the celebration things on that weekend.
Right.
Now, this month, it just happened that my best friend, who is also my boss, and her sister came down to my neck of the woods for a weekend.
Neat.
That happened to be the first weekend of November.
Oh.
So we did all of the celebration things.
Yeah, for sure.
So I had like 2 hours each day where I was at home, had power, had internet, and like had some level of brain function.
Mm-hmm.
0 writing happened.
0 writing. Yeah.
So like I don't feel bad that I am a little bit behind the curve for the month. Also, I did no tracking in September. Like I wrote, I just did not admin at all.
No, I get it.
So it's not a perfect system, but it works for me.
Nice.
Yes, October birthdays are the best.
They are the best. I guess I can change my banner. I'm proud of myself for getting to 17K because this is me coming back from a year hiatus.
Yeah.
After I wrote Flambeau with BC Brown, we both took like hiatuses from writing after that.
And that's important. Like, I know that
I did
when you're trying to make writing a sustainable like career thing, they say that you need to be writing all the time, but you need to take breaks as well.
Yes, you do. Same goes for art.
Exactly. You cannot draw from an empty well, and if you are constantly outputting and never taking the time to input and fill up again, that is a one-way road to burnout.
Yep.
So I will say the other thing with my like monthly goal is I do also count brainstorming, outlining, prepping, planning, all of that. I have a conversion where I sort of go, if I do 20 minutes of writing prep stuff, that counts as 200 words.
Sure. I did planning and stuff like that during the year that I took the hiatus.
Yeah.
So, like, that's where Borrowed Time came from, the lesbian vampire romance, and like my Damned Hitman series. I decided to make that like a serialized series instead of a series of novels. Caw, caw, caw. Yes, I know. Okay. We shall do a sprint and we will see you on the other side.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Okay, that was our 4th sprint. Woo!
Woohoo!
We don't need this timer anymore, I don't think. I don't know. I might be in for another sprint. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
We will see how it goes. We are no longer sprinting. How did that sprint go for you guys? How did that sprint go for you, Sage?
I got 100 words.
Nice.
Not as much as I wanted, but I'm writing a very difficult scene at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
And so one of the characters has just narrowly escaped being assaulted, and I'm having trouble writing it in a way where the character's dialogue doesn't come across as therapy speak.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's this big emotionally charged scene for him, and he wouldn't use those words. So but yeah, I'm also trying to write it so that we know that what the other character did was not right. I'm not condoning what the other character did, but the character who's the point of view character is quite empathetic and is like, well, does he know that that's what he was doing? Kind of thing. And it's a very difficult scene.
I bet.
So, how did it go for you?
Pretty good. I just pimped out Ambient Shorts, who does like Skyrim study with me's,
Mm-hmm.
where he does Pomodoro sprints and stuff like that. And I have been using the hell out of their playlist.
Awesome.
So I can totally post it in here.
You can and you should.
Whoop. So if you need Pomodoro sprints set in Skyrim, Ambient Shorts for the win.
That sounds like an excellent plan.
You can get it with music and without.
Awesome.
So I stumbled on them looking for locations to be on my TV so that I get a change of scenery.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so cute. Like his little avatar like walks up the stairs and into the room and pulls a book and sits down and opens the book and reads. And the timer is the health bar.
Oh, that's so cool.
And it's just the guy like you reading like a mage, like.
Very cool.
And then it's 5-minute breaks, and during the breaks he has like a narrative that he does, and then he also gamifies hitting the like button, and it's hilarious. I love it.
That is very cool, and I will definitely check that out.
So when I feel like being alone and doing sprints and stuff like that, like I've been doing that. Oh, look at that doggo. That looks like an old man.
This is my old lady.
Old lady. Okay.
Old lady. We had to put the old man down in April.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. He got splenic cancer.
Oh, shit.
And by the time we picked it up, the vet was like, look, there are things that we can do, but the chance that it's going to work.
And the fact that it might put you in debt.
That as well.
Yeah.
And she was like, look, he's suffering now. The chances that we can get him healthy again and not suffering are so slim.
Yeah.
And
It's going to be expensive.
Yeah, he'd lost 50% of his body weight.
Ooh.
Over 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's end game.
Yeah. So we had to put him down. So we've only got Miss Faraday at the moment. But we are hoping, fingers crossed, that we will be able to get another companion for her early next year. But it's going to depend largely on the stuff that happened in the all-staff meeting this morning.
Right. I got you. Yeah, we're looking at, so I don't know if you caught it, but my familiar Nobukatsu passed away in September. And yeah, that was rough. We're still in mourning, but we're thinking a pair of kittens at the end of the month.
Sounds like a very good plan.
So, and my husband wants a pair of bonded kittens. He put the qualifier that they weren't related, but I suspect that it'll be easier if they are siblings.
I think you're going to have trouble finding bonded kittens that aren't litter mates.
Yeah, exactly.
But the universe, man.
The universe, man. I had found my kittens, but I found out they were in Mexico. And I was like, I'm not going to Mexico for kittens. I'm not.
No, well, I mean, that's the other thing is we aren't going to actively look for another dog. But I used to volunteer with a community veterinary organization.
Nice.
So I spoke to them and I said, listen, if anything comes through,
let me know
next year, starting from January, we'll see. But Faraday she's not old, but she's like middle-aged.
Really?
She's we got her in 2018. And she was about 6 months old then.
Oh, okay. So she's not that old.
So what's that? 2023 minus 2018. 5, 6. So she's about 6 years old.
Wow.
Which
for a purebred big dog, like.
Yeah, so she's about early 40s in human years. I mean, it's a rough estimate, but
it's a rough estimate, and even then, like, it's expedited because of the mega dog. Oh, bark, 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 bark. It
We're
can
gonna do one more.
let's. Why don't we?
Cool.
Okay. That was our 5th sprint. That was cool. All right. Stretchy time.
Stretch time. Whew.
Oh, crunch.
And creak as well.
Oh. All the popping and the creaking.
Yep.
All right. So I did very little writing.
That is fair.
Mostly putzed around on YouTube. Thinking about doing an update now that it's 4:30 in the morning. I don't think I did a video. No, I did do a video yesterday. I just need to keep up my little updates. Like, I wrote the spicy day.
Woohoo!
I was thinking I was going to do a fade to black for one version and then have like a really raunchy version for the spicy people. But I just wrote through it, and I don't know. I'll make like three versions of the scene.
Yeah.
And the extra scenes will be free, so that you what's the word I'm looking for?
I get what you're saying.
Get the
but
most
also,
out of the story, right? So those who are not interested in the spicy scenes don't need to download the extra scenes.
So you can curate your experience.
Exactly. Choose your own adventure.
Yeah. I mean, that's really common in the fanfic space. Is here's the main story. If you want to see the spicy stuff, go here.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the sprint timer is done. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
How did that sprint go for you?
Oh, excuse me. I should not be yawning that much. It is 11:30.
You've been up a while.
I have been up a while. I got 162 words. So I think that is pretty good. I'm still
waddling through the rough scene.
Yeah, I've sort of moved on to the transition into the next. I mean, it's the same scene, but the next phase of the scene,
right,
which is less down in the dealing with what's just happened.
Right.
And like you, I'm an underwriter, so I know I'm going to come back and flesh things out.
Yeah.
I'm still not 100% happy with how it's playing out. But I mean, there's like sexuality stuff happening here and realizations that maybe what you feel for your best friend isn't like
that is
friendship.
Exactly what I'm writing.
Yeah.
I can relate.
So it's like it's just a very awkward place to be.
It is an awkward place to be, especially when both parties are demisexual. So you better make both parties really interesting.
Yeah. So it's I mean, this is the thing is that the POV character is demisexual, and up until this point he has not experienced any kind of sexual attraction to anyone. So he has no idea what to do with these feelings.
And I'm running into that with my vampire and her mortal charge.
So it's
They are both having issues. And now I'm at the point where they need to be like a couple for a little bit, and then they'll, and then they'll part.
Yeah.
And Annalie will be like, oh, she ran away with my roommate, and boo hoo hoo. And somehow she finds out that the prince is hunting her down. So I haven't decided how she finds out. I put she found a note, but why would she find a note? Like the prince doesn't know it's her yet.
Yeah, that's one of those things that's like a video game thing, finding a note. Because like I hit this in I finished a Dishonored 2 run through yesterday.
Nice.
And at the end there is, on one of the last missions, there is, I think it is actually the last mission, there's a boat that has a bunch of stuff in it, but there's no one in the boat.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a note on the boat that is clearly from the owner of the boat to someone else saying, look, I'm skipping town, come with me. But the note is in the boat. Why would the note be in the boat? The note should be with the person that the boat owner is trying to get to come to the boat.
Right.
If the boat owner isn't in the boat...
Yeah. Yeah, it's not panning out.
And it's not like there's a body in the boat, so you can go, okay, well, obviously he was killed before he could send the note.
Or vice versa, where the receiver of the note, you find their body.
Exactly. There's no... So, yeah, that... But at the same time, how else do you convey that information? Because the player, in this case, is going to stumble on the boat before they stumble on anything else.
Right.
So, it's...
Right.
I don't know.
So okay, so here's the deal. I'm gonna divulge a little bit of my story to you. So Annalie, my vampire, 100-year-old vampire, she gets caught on camera, except she doesn't have a reflection, therefore she comes up as invisible. Right? Well, she's caught doing combat in a boutique on the security camera. The prince and the sheriff get the footage because they invested in the boutique, and they see Tennyson, but they don't see Annalie.
Right.
They just see like lots of blood spraying and heads rolling and ridiculous combat.
The results of, but not the cause.
Right. So I have it that Tennyson is kidnapped from work. So Annalie would have to go to the Bloody Mermaid by the by. And I'm using the Bloody Mermaid. And she is a performer for the Bloody Mermaid.
Right.
And she gets picked up by the prince from work. Oh, caw, caw, caw.
Oh,
But the yeah, so she would have to go to the Bloody Mermaid and talk to the bartender.
Right.
That would be a better way of going about it.
I would think so.
'Cause she knows where the prince is. She just has to know that it's the prince that took her.
Right. Does anyone at the Mermaid know that Annalie is connected to Tennyson?
Absolutely.
So would it be... Who is more likely to notice that Tennyson is gone? Like, first?
Oh,
Who's gonna...
Annalie for sure. Because
Okay, so then...
they go from spending a lot of time together to not.
Right.
So she's like, boo hoo hoo, she left me, but ha 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 ha. However, she's been kidnapped.
But, okay, so Annalie would know that Tennyson is gone, but would her first thought be, she's left me, or would it be, she's missing?
One, she's missing. Two, she ran away with my roommate. Because the roommate was picked up at the same time. The roommate is the owner of the mermaid.
Okay, so... Yeah, then it makes sense that she's going to go to the mermaid and be like, hey, what gives?
Hey, what gives? The owner and the new singer
have both
vanished. And
what the fuck?
they're like, oh, they left with the prince.
Okay, yes, that makes more sense then. I was just trying to figure out whether it would make more sense for Annalie to proactively go and find that information, or for someone from the mermaid to get in touch with Annalie and be like, hey, Tennyson didn't show up for work. You know, it's the same problem, but approached from different angles.
I think it would make more sense if she already believes that they are sneaking behind her back.
There you go, then.
Because she's got to. It's the dark moment, right? She's got to deal with that baggage with those demons.
Okay, well then, yeah, I think as long as you are foreshadowing that in a way that it is plausible that maybe Tennyson has run off with the roommate, then I think that's the most logical way of going about it.
Okay. I will make a note of that.
Yeah, it's always difficult to know exactly how to communicate these things. Because I ran into an issue a couple of months ago. I did a fanfic based on a movie. So basically a retelling of the movie with different characters.
Cool.
But movies and written fiction are two totally different storytelling media. There are things that you can do in a film that you can't do with the written word. One of which is follow multiple characters without totally like throwing the reader or watcher for a loop. Because in films, you don't generally have a POV character. You might have a character that you follow for the majority of the film,
right?
But you're not viewing things from their POV.
That's a very small niche.
Exactly. Whereas with written work, generally, to a greater or lesser degree, you've got a POV character, and even if you're not writing in first person, I am doing this thing, even if you're not in their head, you have one character's viewpoint for the thing.
Right.
Or you might have two or three, depending. But I mean, like...
This is the first project I've had where I head hop.
The thing with alternating POVs is the shorter your story is, the more difficult it is to do alternating or multiple POV without it feeling choppy.
It can be, depending on how, like,
yeah.
If you're used to writing like horror flash and stuff like that, then
okay, like there are genre expectations and things to take into account as well. But like for what I write, which is predominantly romance, you don't want your sections in each character's head to be too short, because you want that time to develop with the characters. Anyway, point is, I decided that I was only going to have the main two characters, the two romantic leads, and have it be their POVs. Which means anything that happens outside of view or hearing range of one of those two characters has to be excluded. There are several scenes in the movie that happen without either of the romantic leads being anywhere near enough to have that knowledge. So you can't include those. And I thought, okay, that's fine. I can put in context clues around that will convey that information, so I don't have to exposition dump at the beginning of the chapter to say what happened. Basically, in the middle of the thing, one of the romantic leads goes missing. But in the film, that information is conveyed from the viewpoint of a secondary character who then reports to another character, hey, this has happened. So I dropped that scene because they're not present for it from the point of view of the character going missing. And I can't write it from the viewpoint of the character who sees that the other character has gone missing, because they're not a viewpoint character. And I thought that I had put in enough context clues and given enough information for people to make that leap with me,
but maybe
into
not.
The next chapter.
No,
I very much did not. And I think it's because the movie is one of my favorite movies. So I have internalized that story. I know it inside out, upside down, back to front. My readers don't. And this is one of the problems that comes in when you do, I don't want to say too many, but too many drafts of a project. By the third, fourth, fifth draft of a project, you know the story inside out, back to front, upside down, left, right, sideways.
Absolutely. And you've come up with new things and you've omitted old things. And
so unless you are reading from scratch all the way through every time, there are things that you're going to miss that you think, oh, but I've already explained that. Except that in the second draft you cut that scene out.
Right.
So anyway, the long story short is I had to, with the next chapter, include a long ass author note being like, okay, so I did a shit job here. Here's what happened. Catch you guys all up.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know the movie like I do.
Which was not ideal. So
Right.
I'm trying to be better about conveying information in a way that is not, well,
Telling.
as you know, John.
Telling, yeah.
You know, if John knows, why are you telling him?
Yeah. Exactly. I get it. But
and I think sorry, I was just going to say, I think that is something that I will get better at the more TTRPGs I do.
Yeah.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yes. Yes. We just gotta make sure you have internet and power for the thing.
Well, I have internet now. My boss has helped me get an inverter.
Oh.
The only thing is the inverter kit didn't come with the cable that it needs.
Oh.
Because it wasn't a kit, it was basically Mr. Sage looked at what he thought we needed, ordered the things that we needed from his tech supply guy, and neither of them was like, well, how are we connecting this?
Right.
So we need a cable.
Mm-hmm.
And so Mr. Sage unpacked everything and measured everything, and it was like, okay, this is how much cable I need. And he went into town to the place where you can get the cable, and the quote for the cable was like 3,000 Rand. Which is about a third of the price of the inverter kit. That's the inverter and the batteries and the whole shebang. And I'm like, okay, I cannot ask my boss to now also, over and above what she's already
hooked
paid,
you up with. Yeah.
now also pay this. And it's like, it's about a third of my salary as well.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
And last month we had to replace our microwave. The month before we had to replace our kettle.
Oh.
Because of all the power outages.
Right.
So, like, it's fine. We can get the cable, but not this month.
Not this month.
So, Mr. Sage was like, okay, well, here's the DB board. If we put the inverter right underneath the DB board, we can shorten the length of cable that we need by like 2/3.
Yeah.
And 1,000 Rand is much more doable than 3,000 Rand.
Yes.
Which is great, except that Mr. Sage and I were both horrendously like bedbound sick over the weekend.
Right.
So no moving of furniture happened.
No, of course
like,
not.
There is a couch here, there's a table there, there's a chair there that needs to move before we can put the inverter where the inverter needs to go. So
just opened the door and walked out. She finally learned how to open the door.
That is fantastic, and I'm sorry for boring your cat. Anyway, the point is, hopefully, sometime in the next month or so, I will be able to get the cable, and then I will have
consistent power.
Mostly consistent power, as long as we're not having the 4-hour outages. because the inverter kit that we got should, by our calculations, run my setup and Mr. Sage's setup for 2 hours and 20 minutes, which is about the right length for our normal outages.
Ah.
But if we go into double sessions and triple sessions, then obviously that's not going to work.
But
and the other thing is,
but for like a little 2-hour blip,
shouldn't be an issue. And I mean, if I have to dip, I have to dip.
Sure.
We've always played that way.
Yeah.
So, but yes, I was complaining the other day to another TTRPG friend of mine that I have the itch, because it's been like more than a year since the last time I played any kind of TTRPG.
Right.
And like, it is so helpful for my writing.
For mine too.
And just like, I am bad at improv. And improv is kind of an important thing.
In some ways, yeah.
In some ways. Being able to
think on the fly.
Problem suddenly solve. The character isn't doing what you thought the character was going to do. How are you gonna
remedy this problem?
Yeah. And also just for social situations, like outside of story stuff, because I'm bad at social situations.
Right.
But improv also helps with that. But I'm bad at improv. But I can get better at improv by playing TTRPGs.
By TTRPGs. Yeah, you bet.
So, yes. Because I could, theoretically, get a local group together, but we don't have any storytellers or DMs or GMs, which means I would have to do it.
You would have to do it, and you're not.
That's a whole other.
That's a whole other ball of wax.
Absolutely. So I was like, look, I could potentially find a one-shot campaign, run that, and see how things go. But I am not ready to write a full campaign.
Your own campaign. Yeah.
Because it's not just writing. It's what are the players going to do?
It's choose your own adventure.
And again, I'm bad at improv.
Mm-hmm.
And I know from being a player, we delight in destroying the storyteller's plans.
Yes.
I know.
Keep the storyteller on their toes.
I know at the first possible opportunity, my players will throw me for a loop.
Yes.
So I don't know that I can write a branching story that will allow me to run a whole campaign by myself.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'd like to. But
we've taken 9 months off of as luck would have it. We're in the midst of filming season 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to do a lot of back-end admin, and I'm thinking about releasing it as a podcast.
You should definitely do that.
And because YouTube has now made it so that you can make a playlist a podcast.
Yes. Yes. You should definitely do that.
So I'm thinking about doing it with the Great Wen, just to kind of test it, since we have a beginning, middle, and end of the Great Wen.
Yes.
And I can figure out how the heck to end, as luck would have it, after 5 seasons. And we would have Kibby back, and we have a new player, and maybe we can get you back in, and
I sure hope so.
that would be super cool. Your room was made into a library.
Yes, you told me. And that is exactly as Espen would have wanted it. So
okay, cool. Yeah, it's been added to.
Excellent. We love to see it. I mean, you know by now, that's my kind of character. Give them all the books, let them do the research, they're happy.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be good. Also, if you have friends that you want to play with, like we can, I mean, I have like pocket campaigns and stuff like that I can throw them into. So
Awesome.
I have like a X-Files type technocracy game that I'm having a lot of fun with. It's kind of like episodic more than it is a running storyline.
I think given how my friends' lives work, episodic is the way to go.
That way you can miss episodes, you can come back in, you can if everybody's power is out, then like it's all good.
Yeah. I did see the other day on the good old tumbles that someone has put together, let me see if I can, no, if I can find, no, it's not going to be under that tag. Someone has put together a TTRPG for Dishonored.
Oh, okay.
A fan-made
campaign.
Yeah.
Come play in this sandbox.
Yeah. I haven't downloaded it because every time I see it, I'm on my phone, not on my computer. And I don't want to download it on my phone. I want it on my computer.
Right.
But like that whole world is just so freaking cool.
It is.
It has... I have the worst Corvo Dowd brain rot at the moment. Just, I call them the murder dilfs. Like, just give me 2 old men who want to kill each other. I'm happy. Why? I have seen this thing like literally 15 times in the last 2 days.
And now you can't find it.
Now that I'm looking for it, it's just gone. And I know who made it. And I'm not even seeing any of their posts. So I really hope that it is just me being like ADHD blindness.
Right.
And not that
we ran into that. Oh my gosh. BC and I ran into that tonight on the stream. Where I don't know. Have you seen anything for Flambeau?
I haven't. I've been really bad.
If you get the opportunity, I strongly recommend it.
I will.
We are working on a sequel for it, and there is a rebellious group that is not part of the council that believes that they shouldn't be mandated to do shit. They shouldn't be relegated to hiding from people. They shouldn't be, they don't want to follow the same laws.
Right.
And we couldn't remember the name of the group. And we skimmed through the whole brain dump document, and it's in the first line.
Yeah.
That's where we found it, was in the first line.
Yep. I am very familiar with that problem. That is a problem I have often. It's
so,
like...
So BC and I are going to meet up again tomorrow, and we're going to actually lay down some rules for the world and the magic use and the racial stuff and all of that, all the supernatural stuff, because otherwise it's just like real life. So yeah, I'm looking forward to really hashing out that stuff and putting it in the series Bible so that we don't have another moment like that.
Yeah. And this is the thing. If you're going to do a series, you need to keep a series Bible, and you need to keep the series Bible up to date.
Yeah.
It's that last part that gets you.
It's going to be easier since it's just book 2. We have enough of... We kind of did a broad stroke with the first book, and we want to start specializing with the second book, and then we'll specialize even further with the third, which we were already talking about a third book. But
all the more reason to keep your Bible up to date.
Yeah, no kidding. So that is the thing. That is where we're at. We need to update the Bible.
That is the thing. I cannot find this thing, but I will find the thing.
The Dishonored campaign?
Yeah. And when I've found the thing, I will share it with you. Just in case you want to look at it.
Sure.
I mean, inspiration comes from everywhere.
Indeed. I want to see what they do for like random encounters and stuff.
Yeah, I'm very interested because like I've literally only seen the front cover and I think one character page. So I have no idea what game system they're using, if it's entirely homebrew.
Maybe it's D&D 5e.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
I
not
don't
sure what
know.
system they're using. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Or the flat D20 system, the modern D20 system, maybe.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it, and I want to. So thank you for reminding me to look at it now.
Now you got me curious.
I found it. I found it.
Excellent. I was about to start looking.
Nope, I found it. If the post would load.
But it's a big post, I bet.
It is a big post. Aha, aha, aha. It's called the whalebone frame.
Nice.
Sticking a link in the private chat.
Beep.
And
Cool.
so I'm going to let that download. And then the other thing that I was going to do... Flambeau, did you go Amazon exclusive or wide?
Yes.
Amazon exclusive. Okay.
So you can look up Cass Voit, and hopefully it'll actually give you that Flambeau, because there's a bunch of like paranormal romances called Flambeau.
I have found it. Okay, I will put it on my wish list so that it is there when next I have book money.
And the cool thing that can happen is when the sequel is getting closer and closer to release, we'll likely do a loss leader of the first book.
Right.
And like you can get the first book for free. You're gonna want to continue the story with book 2.
Right. Okay, so I have added it to my list.
Cool.
Because the reason that I haven't been reading everyone's stuff is because I had a Scribd subscription. Scribd is now Everand.
Oh.
Yeah, they've split it out so that you still have one subscription, but they've split the services so that ebooks and audiobooks fall under Everand. And then community documents, which is mostly for like legal stuff and textbooks and that kind of thing, is under Scribd. And then there's a third thing that does something else, which I'm not 100% on. Anyway, basically I was doing all of my reading through Scribd. And a lot of people are Amazon only. So
I get
Amazon only stuff, like, it's extra money.
It is.
So, but like, if I remember to put things on my list, then when I have money, then...
Do you have like a Kindle app or
I do.
iBooks or some kind of PDF reader or anything like that?
I have several e-reader apps on my phone. So I've got
cool.
Kindle, I've got Moon Plus, and I've got Everand. So I am capable of reading the things. It's just because I'm already paying for the
If
script.
you message me on Discord, I'll pop you a copy and you can tell me what you think of it.
Okay. Then you have a Ko-fi, right?
I do.
Okay. Then when I have money again, I will give you money in your Ko-fi.
Okay.
Because that's how we do it. Because I don't want to deprive you of the sale.
I appreciate that.
You have put work into the thing. You deserve to be paid for the work.
Yes. I got $6.60 this month.
I'm going to tell you a secret that is not such a secret. Let me get into my KDP. I've taken my books off of KDP. Mm-hmm. They're now only available through Kobo, whatever, the stuff that Draft to Digital does. Mm-hmm. And that is because I wanted to make changes, and I don't want the the current versions going out anymore.
Right.
I just haven't turned it off on D2D yet.
I got you.
And I can't figure out how to remove a thing from sale on Ingram Spark. Never use Ingram Spark.
I hear horror stories.
The only reason that I set up with Ingram Spark for Silkflower Goodbye was because one of my friends had a setup code that let me do it for free.
Oh, okay. So what was there to lose except for the rights to your fucking book?
So, I mean, I still have the rights. It's just a pain to get the stuff back from them or to get them to stop printing.
Right.
Where is...
Hello, sweetie. I have this kitty.
Hi, Pabu.
This is a little Pabu. Her little heart is pounding.
Oh, she's so pretty. Okay, so from 2019, when Silkflower Goodbye launched, to today, my estimated royalties on Kindle is $88.87.
Holy shit.
Okay. Which I have not seen a cent of, because Amazon has that $100 threshold. They don't pay out until you hit $100.
Right.
So I've earned almost $90 and not seen a cent of it.
Right.
So at some point, I will fix my books and put them back up for sale. But that ain't happening today.
BC is in the throes of updating her Karaoke Jane stuff and her Metaphysical Chronicles. So, and like we're working on the sequel during the stream because it's Nano, and she's working on revising her 13-year-old books, and I'm working on Borrowed Time.
Yeah.
So, and hopefully I can write the end on November 30th or before. That's the goal.
That is the goal. Okay. Sorry, work.
Hey, that is totally fine.
Because I am technically supposed to be working.
You are on the clock.
I am technically on the clock. But I have a feeling that I am going to take this afternoon off and go and rest a bit and then come back after the evening power outage and do the things.
Yeah.
Because brain is not braining.
Not after that meeting.
No. So executive dysfunction is a thing.
Yes.
Some days the executives show up and put their feet on the desk and just refuse to do anything.
Oh.
Today is one of the days where the executives didn't even show up to the office.
Oh.
So my brain is just not braining.
Right.
So I think I might need a little food and some sleep and a reset.
Yeah.
In order to get the executives back in the boardroom.
Yeah. Right on. Well, we've been at this for 3 hours.
We have.
Or I have.
You have. I joined you 45 minutes in.
Yes. And should
and it
I...
is 5:30 in the morning.
It is half past 5 in the morning. But there's a stream at 7 that I'm kind of trying to get to.
Okay, I know that feeling.
So it's like I could go to bed, but I'm also awake enough that I could stay up for 2 hours and yeah.
Yeah. I run into that problem a lot because Jillian and Jamie stream on Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings for them, Friday and Saturday nights for me.
Okay.
But their stream starts now. It's at 10 o'clock. It used to be at 11 o'clock. And at 11 o'clock on a Friday night,
at night,
after I've done a full week's work.
Yeah, that's a bit much.
Then sometimes I make it just to go to the stream and say, hey guys, I love you. Good sprinting. I'm going to bed.
Dropping a like. See you guys later.
Yeah. And this is the problem, is that 9 times out of 10, I'm working or I'm sleeping when other people are streaming. And that's why the only good time for me to stream is at 5 o'clock in the morning, my time.
Right.
Which is 9 or 10 p.m. I don't know. I'm not mathing right now. 10 p.m. Eastern.
10 p.m. Eastern. Okay.
I mean, I'll probably have some viewers.
Rhiannon streams from 9 to 11, and me and BC stream from 9 to 11 Eastern.
Yeah.
And like we get some people, right? So we'll get people at the end of the day. So
right.
That would not be a terrible time for you to stream.
It would not be a terrible time.
You can get the Australians, you can get the Brits, you can get the Germans. You can
maybe not the Brits because it's 3 o'clock in the morning for them.
Oh.
But yeah. Because they're 2 hours behind.
Yeah.
So if it's 5 a.m. for me, then it's 3 a.m. for them. Well, if they're staying up late,
then maybe so.
Maybe. But I don't like streaming when Mr. Sage is home because we share an office and I feel like I'm imposing on him.
You're underfoot, yeah.
And
that's
then also,
why I have this studio, is so that I'm not underfoot of my husband while he's working.
So the only days that work are the days that Mr. Sage is not home, which is Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Okay.
Because that's when he goes into town for dialysis.
Oh.
And sometimes he leaves at 5, but sometimes he doesn't leave until 6.
Okay.
So it's like, I can't really make a schedule.
Based on what if he leaves at 6.
Yeah. So I
So
just,
you
I
want
kind
to
of,
start at a consistent time.
I want to start at a consistent time, but starting at 6 feels too late because I start work at 8.
Oh,
So I want
you would need a buffer.
I need a buffer. Um I mean, my boss doesn't really care as long as emails are getting answered
Mm-hmm.
and work is getting done.
Mm-hmm.
My boss doesn't really care if I stream during office hours, but I feel weird because also I'm using the company account to stream.
Right.
So I don't want to run the risk that, okay, at the moment, no one else is using it. But I don't want to run the risk that boss decides to do a stream and then I'm keeping her out of doing the stream.
Right. Wow.
Yes, I agree, Pabu. Yes, you're very wise. Okay. Yes, I hear your concerns. I will take it under advisement.
Yes.
She's
Did
very
Timmy
vocal
fall
this
down the
morning.
well? She's very vocal now that Nobu has passed.
Mm.
She's super vocal at 9 p.m., 1 a.m., 5:30 in the fucking morning.
Mm-hmm.
And my poor husband so if I sleep in the bed, which I usually do,
Mm-hmm.
I can tune her out. I can sleep through it. And she will eventually hop up on the bed and sleep on top of me, and that's that. But my husband can't stand it.
Mm-hmm.
So he usually wakes me up with, Pabu, come here.
Yeah.
So,
That is familiar.
yeah.
Yeah, I will say since we had to put Darwin down, Faraday has also been, yes, she's more vocal in that she does bark more often, but
Mm-hmm.
she still doesn't bark inside the house
Mm-hmm.
unless something like wild and crazy is happening.
Right.
But she is very much more like up in my business than she
Oh,
was before. And I'm like, okay, pet, 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 pet. And then she goes away again. Where before she's very much Mr. Sage's dog.
okay.
Which I understand he's the one who takes her for walks.
Uh-huh.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, my cat. Please do not wake up my husband.
Oh my goodness.
Pabu, come in here. I'm closing the door. Do not. You cannot open it. And unless you can leap up, and I don't have that kind of door handle.
Okay, that makes a difference.
In Germany, we had the kind where it was like
A lever.
a lever. So our Siamese at the time figured out that if she jumps and hangs off of it, she can open the door.
Yes.
No.
Wow. My goodness, Pabu. You are telling all the stories this morning.
She does it every morning, every night, every morning. Ever since Nobu died.
Sorry, I am going to have to run.
No worries.
Because apparently one of my clients did not get the message or the email that I sent them this morning.
Uh-oh.
And they are now freaking out. So I need to go and put out some
fires. Okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
But it was lovely to stream with you.
Lovely to hang out with you.
And I will see you again soon.
Wait, we got a thing. Yeah.
Wow! That's super cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
It's because I'm on a Mac.
Right. Fancy Apple things.
Fancy Apple things. The new OS comes with all kinds of cool stuff that you can do while streaming, while on camera. Like, the only thing that it struggles with is with Discord. It kind of vibrates on Discord.
Okay, that makes sense. Discord has its issues.
Yeah. Okay. Later, hun.
Okay. Toodles.
If you like this video at any point, I encourage you to hit the like button. And if you would like to see more videos like this one, you will usually catch me on Tuesday mornings, on Tuesday nights, and on Sundays on Morgan's channel. And if you would like to, see that stuff some more, then I advise that you subscribe and maybe even ring that bell on the off chance that YouTube actually notifies you when I go live or post a video or whatever. And I will catch you guys on the flip side.